Welcome to No Flipping Excuses with Jason Lucchesi. Jason Lucchesi was the guy voted least likely to succeed by his high school peers. Today, Jason's a real estate flipping ninja Jedi Knight assassin who's taken his drive, street smarts, and never give up attitude and converted them into a real estate flipping business and freedom-based lifestyle. Here to share the truth about flipping houses, finding sellers, delivering buyers, real estate investing without the reality show hype, and all-around general business badassery. Your host, Krav Maga enthusiast, husband and father of 3, Jason Lucchesi.
Hey, what's up? It's Jason Lucchesi, and welcome to the No Flipping Excuses show. You are in store for a great episode. I've got a good friend of mine that's joining me today. This guy is doing crazy business, and I've wanted him on the show for a long time now. We've been kind of contacting each other back and forth on Facebook Messenger, and we finally nailed down a time to where we could both be on the same show at the same time. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to my good friend, Mark Evans, DM, the deal maker himself. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing awesome, Jason. How you, buddy?
I am doing good, man. The sun is shining. Can't complain. The long winter that we had here in Indiana has hopefully gone. Hopefully we don't have any snowstorms coming up here soon. But yeah, man, things are going good. I'm glad we were finally able to get you on the show here. I know you got some big things coming up, and first of all, I want to congratulate you. You've got your brand new book coming up. It's your 9th book, right?
Number 9, absolutely.
That is awesome. What's the name of your book?
The new book is The 10-Minute Business Owner.
Nice. And
yeah.
For our listeners out there, Mark, a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, wow, that's awesome." I want folks to know, like, Mark is the real deal. I see stuff. I know a lot of the folks that he's working with. Like, one of my mentors that I used to work really close with showed me all the stuff that he was able to do with Mark as far as buying turnkey rental properties. But Mark's doing some serious business. And the book title is amazing because as a true CEO, that's the way you should be thinking. So, Mark, let's back up, and for listeners that don't know who you are, let's kind of talk about who's Mark Evans and when did you get started as a real estate investor?
Yeah. Whoa. Is that me or you? 1 second here. You there, Jason?
Yeah, I'm here, buddy.
All right. It froze on me for a second. So for me, I started back in 1996, small town, Ohio, laying in bed, dreaming about making $100,000 a year. I'd be rich. I had no clue what it would be, but it ultimately became an entrepreneur. I was always an entrepreneur spirit, but back then that was called laziness, right?
Yeah.
It always cracks me up. Like, everyone I knew worked hard and barely had any money at the end of the day or end of the week left over. And I would like make money and have money left over, and I'm doing less than them, and they're telling me I'm the crazy one. And I started thinking, I'm like, wait, am I the crazy one or are they? Maybe I figured something out. But I really just started figuring it out. Went to a seminar once, watched Russ make a phone call, and I said, I can do that. And Jason, as you know, so many people overcomplicate and overthink all these pieces.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't have the opportunity or the option, I think not opportunity, but the option to procrastinate, to overthink. I had no money, literally.
Yeah.
And never had a job for my whole adult life, ever, and never will. So it's kind of good, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But I just started making phone calls and having conversations. And, my problem wasn't the client's problem. So I had to figure that out. But at the end of the day, I think that's what we need to do is, it's not about us. It's about the individuals we can help. So I just started like navigating that. This is newspaper days. This isn't internet and fast and speed, quick push buttons and make millions. This is really, pull out a newspaper, highlight it all day and call everyone up, old school. And I've put tens of thousands of hours in calling people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what got me to here today, and nearly went bankrupt twice, which is crazy. Not because I thought I knew everything often and just got naive and silly and, cocky, if you will. But building character.
Oh man. I tell you what, I've had, my first ever property that I bought went into foreclosure, lost it. And it was because I bought the property, I got moved around with my company, had some really bad tenants in there, and I just ended up, it was a bad time. That's when the economy just tanked, and I lost my job at Countrywide Home Loans. Well, I didn't lose it. I left because I saw the writing on the wall, and that's when I became a investor in 2008. So I get what you are saying. Like, I was making really good money, and then all of a sudden it just poof, it's gone. Boom. It's gone. So yeah, it's crazy. And for folks that aren't following you on Facebook, I highly encourage it, because Mark has done some really great Facebook live videos where he's done like live calls to sellers, and you get to hear like what he says and how he says it. I personally love that. I do that too. And you can always gain like little nuggets from folks that are actually doing the business. So Mark, let's talk about the book. What does it mean as far as being like, you know, in the business from a 10-minute standpoint? Like how did you go from being in your business as, I guess I basically like to say, you've created a job for yourself. What was it for you that like flipped a switch and it was like, hey, I really need to look at this as a CEO rather than as an employee mindset? What was that shift for you like?
Yeah, it was October 8, 2005. I remember it clear as day. My grandmother passed away.
Oh man.
So for 2 weeks before that, she went to a doctor, basic checkup, and they're like, hey, you have stage 4 cancer. You're going to die in 2 weeks. So to me, I was 27 years old. I had life by the balls. I was excited. I was working from 4 a.m. to 11 a.m., 7 days a week. Not complaining. I actually loved it, which most people do. So I had no life, but I had money, and I'm sitting here grinding and grinding and grinding. And then literally just that happened. I'm like, oh my God, this could be, tomorrow is not a guarantee for any of us.
Right.
So it just made me have a different perspective of why I was doing all this. So from October 8th to December 31st of 2005, I started talking to my team, telling them I'm leaving for a month, which turned into 7 years of my wife and I traveling around the world. So what happened, massive dry heaving, massive anxiety attacks, massive of letting things go. I was a high level micromanager. And I didn't realize that because I was just so deep into it. I just wanted to do it. Yeah. Like someone's messing up a phone call. Give me the call. I got it. And then boom, close the deal. High five. And everyone thinks they're geniuses. So for me, it was more about getting real with myself and not being an egotistical maniac, acting like I owned a company. Really just had a very high paying job disguised as a company. And I see a lot of people like this, Jason, a lot of people.
Yep.
So to me, it's like, okay, great. What if you can't work today? What if you can't work this week, next month, blah, 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 blah. So I just started like creating that constraint, left to South Beach, Florida for a month, which turned into a lot of months and a lot of years. But it forced me, like when I'm in these foreign countries, my wife and I always loved the warm weather. I was from Columbus, Ohio. So I was leaving the cold weather to get somewhere warm. And I call it island investing. I'm sitting on an island. I have 10 minutes a day on my company. Who do I talk to? What do we talk about? So I don't kill myself on the island freaking out every day.
Yeah.
And it really just started thinking, it just created that constraint. It's not to be literally 10 minutes a day all the time, because there's some days you spend hours, some days you spend nothing.
Right.
But how can you create that North Star saying, if I could just work on my business 10 minutes a day, how could my life change? And really, there's been weeks and months that I've never worked on the business. It just works because I have COOs, a top-down structure and all that. But to me, that was like the pivotal moment, October 8th, to get long story short, I guess, October 8th, 2005.
No, that's awesome, man. And a lot of folks that don't understand that, and it's given you life back, because we all become entrepreneurs because we want the freedom, right? and like you were saying, you were working some crazy hours and you were making some great money, but at the end of the day, you created a job for yourself. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs do. So, some of the things, with this book, with this concept that you have, I personally love it. It's great. And you're not sugarcoating it for folks, especially for people that know you. I know you never try and candy coat things. It's straight. I'm
trying to keep
point.
it calm today.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it calm today.
No, I love it. So let's talk about, like, for some of our listeners, they're brand new. They may be like, well, I can't do the 10-minute stuff right off the bat. And I get it. What would you where would you have somebody start? Like, if they were just getting their feet going, they took that leap, they jumped off the cliff, and they're falling. They're falling. They're waiting for their parachute to open. That good old saying from Steve Harvey. They're waiting for it to open. What would you say? Like, what's some of the first things that you would recommend to somebody?
Well, so the 10-minute business owner book is not about just the specific 10 minutes of creating that. If you're new or wherever you're at in the journey of entrepreneurship or business ownership, it's really about asking yourself better questions. Again, it's like, hey, I'm going to make money. Okay, great. Ask it a little deeper. Hey, I'm going to make X in 10 minutes a day. Like, when you do that, our minds start thinking differently at a higher level. The power of constraint's real. I always talk about, like, when you're going on vacation, you plan 2 months, you're leaving on today's date. For the last 2 days prior to this is when you got 99% of the stuff done. Why? Because it has to get done. Yeah. So we're procrastinators by nature. Humans are procrastinators. So to me, it's like, okay, well, how can we, like, force ourselves to become tighter on the number? It could be 10 minutes, it could be 1 hour, it could be 10 hours. In the beginning, you should be working, though. Like, there's nothing. The problem is, for me, Jason, honestly, I love working. I love what we do. I love helping the people we help, the buyers, the sellers, the investors, and et cetera. Yep. So, and my team and all that. But at the end of the day, I don't have to work. I want to work on stuff. Yeah. So if I don't work, my numbers don't change. My team's working with or without me. Yep. So in the beginning, I think it's asking yourself, where are you at? Where do you want to go? And why? So I would say, stop learning a strategy, start implementing a strategy, and start building from there. But Jason says this, but Mark says this, but Steve said, like, it's like, dude, we're all right, because we're all different people. Yeah. So identify your unique ability, as Dan Sullivan calls it, and then go out there and harness the power of your unique ability inside your environment and go crush some deals. Yeah.
And I always say too, Mark, is, there's so many educators out there, and there's some really, really great educators out there. They're not teaching you anything wrong. But, like, for me, when I first got started, I probably spent $40,000 I didn't have on credit cards buying people's training programs. And I remember sitting on the floor being overwhelmed. I circled myself in these cellophane wrap training programs. I'm like, where do I even begin? And I really like what you said, where, I could say something, you could say something, and, previous people that we've had on here could say something. But I would encourage people, focus on one strategy right off the bat, start seeing some progress being made, make some money. And then if you want to add in, another strategy, just don't overwhelm yourself. So when would you, get to a point in your business, to really be like, turn on the CEO mindset and start being like, okay, we're generating, we're doing 2-3 deals a month now. I could probably get an acquisitions manager, a liquidations manager, and start doing some things like that. When would you feel like that would be the best time to get those pieces in place?
I think when you're doing all the work and all the stuff you're doing is taking from your ultimate goal. I don't think there's an identifier like 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, whatever, or even deal volume. If you literally, one, if you can't leave your company, which is going to be in the beginning. Yeah. 2, if you're just like doing paperwork and all the crazy stuff day to day, like that's the first hire, always the assistants, always the first hire, which will ultimately be the deal coordinator, operations manager, all that stuff for a while. Yep. And then what you'll do is now you're building up your hiring muscles. Because if you can't teach an assistant how to do your day-to-day stuff, you're in big trouble teaching them about sales, organization, flow charts, and blah, 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 blah. So ideally, that's what you do. And now you're working out that muscle, and you're like, don't do this, don't say that. Okay, don't overwhelm them here. And just really navigating. I'm still figuring it out. I'm 22 years deep. I'm still figuring it out in my companies. Yeah. But I think you got to wake up and knowing, like, North Star, like, here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm at. How am I going to get there? And it's never a straight line ever, as you know, Jason.
No, absolutely. And one of the things that we do within our company, especially if we want to remove ourselves from a particular position, is we like what you and I are doing right now. I could easily record the screen of me talking and explaining exactly how a job is supposed to be done. Obviously, it's not going to be able to be done to a T, but at least I could get what I like to call standard operating procedures done. And you could record exactly how everything is supposed to happen, and you could have that in place for every position so that you don't have to be training every single person. Because one of the things I agree with you on is you need to do, everything pretty much right off the bat so you could understand the processes. You're not going to be great at every single thing, but you could at least start doing them to where you can get somebody better than you in that position. So where would you typically like to find people that could come into your organization and start filling those roles for you, Mark?
Oh my God. I mean, dude, it's so much easier today than it's ever been. I mean, honestly, it's crazy. Like you said, we could shoot a video and say, hey guys, my name's Mark Evans. I'm super excited you're here, blah, 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 blah. Post it on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I mean, post it everywhere. Now they see your enthusiasm, who you are, what you stand for. Talk about your 10 core values. I'm looking for people that, understands they have to navigate. They're always willing to learn. They're willing to mess up and go down like what I want and don't want, and just be genuinely straight up with them. And then all of a sudden they come to you. So to me, a lot of times, like we're shooting this podcast show, this is a compound effect, right? So you could do that when hiring, right? You post it out on Craigslist, boom, that's a compound effect. 100 people, 500 people, 10,000 people see it. What about if you start pushing this out to social and on your Facebook, your personal Facebook page, and saying, hey guys, I need your help. I'm looking for an assistant. Here's what I'm looking for. Share the video with your friends. And now you create your little network of group of people, and just out there sharing this. And all of a sudden they're like, yo, I'd love the opportunity to work for you or work with you even.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, to shift gears just for a second here, obviously you got the DM hat in the background, the deal maker.
There we go.
Let's talk about what are some of the strategies that you're seeing right now in May 2018 that are working effectively for finding deals, because most of our listeners are like, well, I'm not finding deals, or, I can't do this or I can't do that. And a lot of it has to do with mindset.
Sure.
And obviously it does have to do with finding the right strategy. But Mark, you guys are doing, I believe, like last time you and I spoke, you're doing like 40 plus deals a month. Is that right?
Yeah, we're shifting around. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, depending on what we're doing. I think at the end of the day, first of all, I talk about this in the book, data, not drama.
Yeah.
So I'm not strategy driven, honestly. I think strategies are easy. I think it's like, most people are out there trying to, like if you want to use basketball as an example, throwing full court shots and you're going to miss 99.9% of them. Just that 0.1 you'll hit. So a lot of times I'm all about dribbling the ball. Listen, direct mail, bandit signs, picking up the phone and actually making a call.
Yep.
Like, dude, it's never been easier to have a conversation with someone. Facebook me, yo, Mark, what's up, man? Hey, you buying in Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, hey, what's up? Hey, well, I got this deal. Is this a deal? Not a deal. Boom. Hey, hook up with Ann. Hey, it's never been easier. The truth is, at the end of the day, people are just lazy. And so strategy, direct mail always works, takes a little bit of money. If you don't have money and you don't have knowledge at all about direct mail, then get your butt on the phone. Go to Craigslist, type in real estate investors, call all the bandit signs everywhere you go, like Drive for Dollars, call bandit signs and say, hey, what's up, man? I saw your bandit sign. Are you looking to buy? Of course they are. That's why it says we buy houses,
Right.
But interesting truth, in fact, only 20 or 30% will even call you back. So people have great intentions, terrible at finishing it. I always have a saying, I'm a great starter and a great finisher if I pay someone to finish it for me. So, all entrepreneurs are like that. We're great starters, Jason.
We sure are.
But the finish line is what gets a little rough. So at the end of the day, man, just, direct mail I've been doing direct mail for 22 years. I don't really do bandit signs as much anymore. I do have some buddies that do that a lot. I have one friend that actually does 8,000 a month, which is pretty crazy.
Wow.
That's his number one marketing strategy, but he is a beast, and that's his unique ability.
Yeah.
Right. He's definitely in the business. He definitely loves that stuff. He loves hacking and moving and managing 100 people, doing that for him every week.
Yep.
For me, I'm more like consistent. I'm not looking at how much can I get a lead for. I'm more like how much can I make from a lead.
Right.
If that makes sense. It's
totally.
Big difference and big different conversation. I'm not trying to get the 12-cent lead. I'm trying to spend $1,200 on a deal so I can actually make money.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people get caught up on the wrong side of that. In the beginning, though, if you don't have money, dude, you don't need money. Beat the streets.
Yep.
Make 100 phone calls a day. and you could do it because I've done it many, 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 many years in a row.
I would totally agree with you on that, because like when I first got started, I was on unemployment check to unemployment check. And I literally went from real estate office to real estate office, just trying to network with agents. Cause at that time, Facebook was out, but this was 2008. Like Zuckerberg just came out with it like 4 years ago, and it still wasn't
Nice.
anything what it was today. And YouTube, I don't even think was available. Well, it was, but yeah, let's just say technology was not where it was as it is today. And I had to go out there. I was networking with as many agents as possible to make it happen. And nowadays it's just crazy. Like we just had somebody, Darius, was a student of ours. He just came on, bought the training program. Within 7 days from reaching out to people on Craigslist, what you just said, he found a slam dunk deal in Chicago and found a cash buyer in a Chicago Facebook group that we told him to find. And he made, close to $15,000 with 3 hours worth of work in 7 days. So it works. All you need to do is just pick up the phone and make it happen. It's just crazy stuff.
Dude, it's like working out. I mean, people are like, oh man, if it's so easy, why doesn't everyone do it? Because you're sitting on the couch drinking beer, eating Doritos, trying to get a six pack. You got to put in the effing work, right? I mean, it's really not that hard.
Right.
The truth is we make it so much harder in our head than it is. I do that with the weight loss. Real estate, making money is easy. Like just pick up the phone and call and genuinely care about the other person you're talking to.
Yeah.
Like no one cares if your wife hates you or your husband hates you or your dog hates you or you're broke or you're getting ready to leave your job or you're getting ready to get fired or if you're on unemployment. No one cares about your problems at all.
Right.
So that's why I always say data, not drama. Like your drama is creating this false data. Like, oh, I'm so busy. How many calls have you made? Well, that means none, by the way. I've had many salespeople. I know what that means. And so for you, it's like make 100 calls a day, 20 calls, just start making calls.
Yeah.
What do you say? Say hello.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not too difficult. And, I've done live calls and I know you've done live calls at your events. When I turn it over to somebody else, they like become a nervous wreck. What would you recommend to people that, have that fear of making a call? Because honestly, all you're doing is you're talking to somebody that more than likely, if you do have a bad call with them, you're never going to see them in person. They're not going to know who you are. It's just somebody else on the other end of the call. But Mark, you're really good with, talking to folks and getting deals done. What would you recommend for somebody that has that problem that they need to overcome to make this business happen for them?
I mean, how can I talk on the show? You want me to tell you exactly what I would tell people?
Sure, go ahead.
Stop being a that's what I'd say. I mean, dude, listen, at the end of the day, if you're trying to get results, like your problem is your problem. It's a phone call.
Yeah.
I remember I got on stage in front of 65 people my first time ever. I had no clothes getting on stage. Guy taps me on the shoulder and said, hey, you're up next. And I'm like, what? He's like, I know who you are. I know what you're up to. I'd love to have you on my stage and talk to my people. I'm like, I'm not going on stage. Like literally in my head, I'm like, dude, I'm sick. My leg hurts. I think I'm getting cramps in my stomach. Like every excuse started populating. But again, my purpose was bigger than the process. So if people are saying that, they're not serious about really what they're saying. They're just a mouthpiece. Like, oh, I want to be a real estate. Oh, I want to make money. Well, you got to do what they do if you want that.
Yeah.
So if that's what you want, you do the work. If you don't, if you want to talk about it and complain about it, that's two totally separate conversations.
Yeah.
But for me, I got on stage. I went downstairs. I got some crackers. I was dry heaving in the bathroom, nervous peeing 23 times, jump on stage. And literally, I still have friends that I know from that meeting 10, 12 years ago. I couldn't even turn on my microphone. I was so nervous. But again, I knew at that moment was, again, he tapped on my shoulder to say, yo, like that was the moment to step up.
Yeah.
Right. Some people step out or step up. There's nothing wrong with being wherever you want to be. If you really want this, guys, I mean, this business is amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Like on the phone is the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yep. Call. Here's another hack. Like we talked about this for a second ago, but like the truth is at the end of the day, don't make the problem your problem's not their problem. Right. Call them. They have problems. Everyone has problems. Solve it. And it's not always about money. It's about solutions. Be solution driven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, hey, Mr. Seller, I see you have a house for sale. F you, click. Okay, great. Hey, Mr. Seller number 2, I see you have a house for sale. Absolutely. I just, my husband just passed away. I'm getting ready to travel out to Hawaii, move in with my kids. I need about $20,000. I just need money, blah, blah, blah. Great. Tell me more about your house. And then just have a conversation.
Yeah.
But again, you and I, Jason, we've made tens of thousands of calls. That's why we can do it easily. Honestly, though, back in the day, I'm either growing or learning. I'm never failing. I learn from every time I make a call, still today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I've done 1,500 shows like this. I still learn what not to do.
Yeah.
And what to do.
Exactly. It's about getting out of your comfort zone. Getting comfortable being uncomfortable is what I like to call it. And if you're nervous, you have, if you can't get over that, then you're not going to see the results that you desire. And I like what Mark said, because I'm the same way. You don't go into a doctor's office and the doctor says, hey, I know exactly what the problem is. Here's your prescription. Bye. They sit you down. They do the blood pressure. They check your heart. They talk to you about what is going on. They're asking you what your problems are so that they can give you the solution. Now, I'm not a big believer in a lot of the stuff that they do as a doctor with all these prescriptions nowadays, but it's the same concept, Mark.
Absolutely.
Would you agree with that? You become a solutions expert to where you're solving people's problems instead of pitching them benefits all the time.
Yeah, but the problem is, how can you be a solution expert if you don't know the problem? Right. So people aren't identifying the problem before they try to give a solution.
Right.
That's why they're getting hung up on. That's why they're being told F you and blah, blah, blah. That's like, well, my mentor said, take the equation based off of Zillow and Truly and blah, 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 and divide by 0.73 and then -7% plus your $10,000 sign fee. And then you're making on a $100,000 house in a hot market, you're making an offer at $23,000. No wonder they don't take you serious.
Right.
So you got to listen to the situation. The situation will always tell you the direction of the conversation.
Yeah.
Always. It's like, no, I'm not interested in selling. I'm going to list with an agent. That's not a motivated seller. But if someone says, hey, look, I bought the property with great expectations. I've rented it. Tenants trashed it. I'm just done with it. I don't want to deal with it. I have another business. I'm getting removed to blah, 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 blah. Great. Tell me more. That's motivation.
No, it totally is. And as long as you ask the right questions, it'll lead to confessions of their problems. And it leads to exactly how you can get the properties that you want at the prices that you want. It's just all about talking to folks. So Mark, before we head into the final segment here, what would you give as a piece of advice for somebody that is just starting out right now? What would you recommend to them? Do you have a tool, or besides picking up the phone and going out there and pounding the pavement? What's that?
Yeah, the tool is the phone.
Yep.
It's our sword. If we're a samurai, the phone is our sword.
Yep.
Period. Yep. You're in the ring. You better pull the phone out and do something with it, and not check your Facebook post and talk to your mom and dad via text and send emojis all day. Call some people and get the work done.
Right.
Again, I don't have any sympathy for lazy people. Zilch. It doesn't exist in my life. I don't allow it around me. And if people are like, well, what's the next tool? The tool is you and the phone. No more, no less. Tools are great if you know what to do with them. I still use pen and yellow notepad paper myself. Yes, there's great CRMs, but a CRM's pointless if nothing's happening in it. Yes, there's marketing's awesome, but if you're doing it, you actually have to do the work. Yeah. And I think there's a massive, massive issue going on, Jason, with people trying to buy themselves simple solutions to a very simple process. It's not hard.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm a big believer in, don't get a bunch of expenditures out there, like getting a CRM and all this other stuff, when I'm a simplistic person. I agree with you 100% on the phone. With Zillow being available, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Craigslist, all these sites out here to where you could be making phone calls. It just makes it so easy. And I still have a legal pad and a pen and paper ready. I personally like that because there's something that goes into it with writing your stuff down. Don't get me wrong, I like to type and all that kind of stuff, but there's something, maybe it's the old school in me, where I like to type or still handwrite it out. It just gets in my head more.
Do whatever works for you, though. Don't use it as a crutch. Use it as what you're good at. I'm old school. I write everything down. But if you're great at technology and you're 21 years old and you're whiz bang amazing,
Yeah.
I suck at follow up. That's why I close deals quickly, because I suck at following up. If I can't close the deal now or help you today, I'm going to say I'm going to hit you up tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes, unfortunately, because I have 50 other calls I got to do tomorrow.
Yep.
So it is what it is. And yes, there's losses there and all that. But at the end of the day, my unique ability is having a real conversation. Let's talk about it and let's make a decision, move forward or not do it.
No,
and when you come with that mindset, Jason, as you know, like my agenda is to help you, no more, no less.
Yep.
If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm cool too. Either way.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome, Mark. And for folks that don't know, Mark's got two big announcements. One of them you've kind of heard here in the beginning of the show, but two really exciting announcements. I'm going to try and attend one of the big ones. So if you do come, that would be awesome. I'm going to try and make sure that I can, I'm going to check my schedule, see if it works, and come up there. But Mark, why don't you fill our listeners in on the two big announcements that you've got going on?
Yeah, I do. I have two amazing announcements I want to share with you guys here real quick. The book thing, like you said, it's my 40th birthday, June 19th at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, Jason. We're going to launch the book to the world, the 10-Minute Business Owner. I actually want to do something special too for your viewers and listeners is over at 10minute businessowner.com/Jason. I actually will give a free chapter of the book when this goes live, as well as I have some videos over there talking on the chapters, kind of like deeper, kind of like conversation with the author, if you will, kind of how it came together and all that.
Awesome.
So that will go live whenever. No, thank you. And then secondly, the deal-a-thon. It's my last deal-a-thon. I'm retiring the brand and the deal-a-thon, where it's a small group of high-level guys, business guys, doing one or two deals a month, trying to figure out like, hey, how do I go bigger or smoother or streamline, or I need more capital, or I need more this or that. And really just kind of like, taking people in a room and facilitating conversation at a high level. What's your top 3 struggles? I don't teach people how to solve 100 problems, because I'm looking for that one problem we solve that will take care of 90 other problems.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're doing in there. It's really high level, conversational, challenging your thinking and status quo, what we think is right, to put ourselves in a better position for future growth.
Yeah.
And that's the deal-a-thon. And the last one is June 19th and June 20th as well, which we'll have a big birthday bash party, my 40th birthday party. It's going to be a really cool event in Columbus, Ohio. And
I'm sure it'll be even bigger if somehow the Cavs pull off the NBA championship. They just pulled off a fantastic series versus the Raptors here, and
nice.
So that'll be even bigger. Having the Cleveland Cavaliers possibly win another one, but this is going to be huge. Mark's book, what you just said, Mark's given the first chapter away, and there's going to be some videos on there. Definitely go check that out, Mark. It's the 10-minute businessowner.com/Jason.
Yep, 10minutebusinessowner.com/Jason. Log in there. If you want to talk to me about the deal-a-thon or whatever, I'll put up a little link there for you too, Jason, for anybody who wants to connect with me on that via there. Because I talk to every person prior to getting in there.
Okay. No, that's great. Yeah. That's great. And I'm going to double check my schedule to see if I could make it too. For any of our listeners that do come, that's going to be awesome. I'm going to hook you up with some free gifts if you do decide to come out to the deal-a-thon. This is, like Mark said, this is his last one, and I need to throw some support towards my boy Mark Evans. Known him since 2012, so would love to come out and check out the deal-a-thon. So check it out. Mark's book, 10-minute business owner. 10minutebusinessowner.com/Jason, and that's 10, not spelled out 10. So 10minutebusinessowner.com/Jason. Check it out. It's going to be an amazing book. Definitely get your hands on it. But other than that, if you need anything whatsoever, make sure you reach out. Mark, is there any parting words for our listeners?
Well, I got lots of words, but I think the parting words would be like, find your why.
Yep.
Focus on your unique ability, and go out there and do the work to get to accomplish what you want. Don't listen to all the noise. It's just noise.
Yeah. Focus
on what you can control, the me economy.
Awesome. No, that's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome words from a brilliant investor, brilliant entrepreneur, brilliant father, brilliant husband. I'm so excited to have Mr. Mark Evans, DM, on the show. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to us at 317-900-1307. And if you really enjoyed this episode, make sure you become a subscriber and also leave us a 5-star review. Also, let us know in that 5-star review, let us know if there's anything in particular that you want us to comment on or cover in maybe a later episode of the No Flipping Excuses show. But that's it, my friends. Thanks for joining me today for our No Flipping Excuses show. I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye now.
Thanks for listening. For show notes and links to anything discussed on today's program, visit noflippingexcuses.com. If you'd like to call the show, dial 317-900-1307, 24/7. Leave a message with your first name and where you're calling from, and include your question, comment, or concern. Who knows? You might end up on the air with Jason Lucchesi. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher. The links are posted at noflippingexcuses.com. Remember, you can close more deals now, make your own rules, and design and live an amazing life without having some jerk-off boss tell you what to do. Share noflippingexcuses.com with like-minded people you know who are ready for badassery, crushing it in real estate, and enjoying freedom to whatever you like, whenever you like it.